Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to SevTech Ages episode 10. Today we're going to be doing Attunement and many of the other late game Astral Sorcery things. So I built this Attunement altar. What it really is just almost everything here is marble. It's actually like, I don't know, probably a little over 300 pieces of marble and one of these Attunement altar blocks. So let me show you the recipe for this. It's not that bad. We crafted it in our crafting table, just 2 star metal ingots, which are a little expensive right now, but the first thing I want to do with this is improve our star metal ingot production. Right, because right now to make star metal ingots, we have to make the ore, which means we have to use 2 stardust and this thingy, right? But now that we have an attunement altar, we can do better. So let me put this back in the middle. Is that the middle? The fact that there's no particles says it isn't. I think I'm 1 off. This thing is like 20 blocks across or something. So it's a little hard to gauge where the middle is. Anyways, when you have it in the right spot, you see these little white particles that let you know it's working. So the next step is to take one of the constellations that are currently out, and let's look through our telescope to find one. So this is Evedius, I believe. This one is Evorcio, and that one is Decidia. Let me see. I think those are all the majors that are out tonight. Yeah, so between those, let me pick one to attune some rock crystals. I mean, some celestial crystals too. So I think of these, Evedius is pretty useful. We can use it to, or the Evedius ritual gives healing in an area. So let's attune a crystal to that, so that we'll even attune a couple, I guess, so that we can use it with blood magic to give ourselves regeneration. So what we do is we put the constellation paper in our offhand, and you'll see there are all these little blue swirlies on the ground. Well, we then take a number of spectral relays and put one on each swirly location. So we just walk up to it and place it there, and then you'll know when it's done because the entire device will start humming. So let's see. Whoops, missed by 1. One more. Different constellations have different numbers of stars, so sometimes you need more or less total relays. And there we go. So there's a couple different ways we can do attunement. First of all, we can attune ourselves if we like. Now, I don't want to attune myself to a Vorceal, so I'll cancel this, but by just walking in it, oh, it looks like I can't cancel it, whoops, awkward. By walking in it, you become attuned to that constellation. That's okay, I can change my mind with a simple craft later. So what it does is, I guess now that I'll be attuned in a second, I'll show you, but we get a quick, spinny look at the surroundings while we get attuned. And anytime now. Depending on the constellation you get attuned to, you'll get certain buffs, and it opens up the path for even more options. I guess those of you that have played Path of Exile will recognize this screen, which is now open when you have when you attune yourself to a constellation. So since we attune to Evedius, we now have +2 maximum life, and we can gain experience, which you see on the left side, by building things. So let's just test that out. If we just place some blocks, so if we look right now, our experience is 0, completely empty. If we just place some blocks, let's leave them there for a second, we should see that we have a little bit of experience. Now, I don't think this is a very efficient way of gaining experience, which is why I didn't want to attune myself to this. So I'll have to change my attunement, which is done via one of these shifting stars. So I think the default shifting star just unattunes you, so that you can attune yourself to something else, and it eliminates all your EXP in the process. And then these irradiant stars attune you to each of these other constellations, and they let you keep your EXP. But I'll probably just make a basic shifting star to clear my EXP, so that I can attune myself to the constellation I want to be attuned to. So this one is for I already forgot what constellation this was. Avedius. So we can, instead of attuning ourselves to it, we can attune a celestial crystal to it, or a rock crystal. So just by throwing the crystal onto there, it will be, it goes through the same animation. I think it's a little shorter. So let me go ahead and grab 3 total crystals to attune to Avedius. And I'll tell you why in a second. Of these 3, we will use 1 as a collector to power our crafting table so that we can craft during the day. We will use, let's see, which one's attuned? I thought their name would change. Did I pick it up too early? Oh, no, I took too long and now it's daytime, so the attunement canceled. Whoops. Alright, well, we'll come back to that the next night then. Anyways, if I can get 3 attuned crystals, I'll use 1 to power our altar. You see here our starlight power is pretty low, and it'll only get lower as the day continues. If I set up a collector crystal, I can power this and give us either completely maximum or at least nearly maximum star power even during the day. The other 2 I want to use to power a ritual. Well, no, I want 1 to power the ritual. As I mentioned, the Avedius ritual, if we check the book here, says that the ritual effect will give nearby entities regeneration and nearby crops will grow. So then what I will do with this is I will plant it down by our blood altar area and give us regen while we're doing blood magic. The third one I would want to use for crafting. And the crafting mechanic using attuned crystals is a little complicated, so I won't describe that quite yet. But how about now that it's daytime again, let's see, there's something I want to do in the meantime. Yeah, I think I'm just going to craft that shifting star to clear my attunement, and then I'll be right back. Probably, I'll come back when it's nighttime again, so that we can begin attuning crystals again. It's nighttime again, so let's go attune these crystals now. So hopefully there's enough time left this night. It's already been half the night because I was durdling away doing some other stuff, but hopefully we'll be able to attune all 3. And then, again, we'll want to turn, I think, just 1 of them into a collector crystal. And I'll show you that in just a second of how that works. Actually, let's do 4 and turn 2 of them into collector crystals. We have plenty of perfect crystals to go around. I made sure not to clear my alignment yet because I'm afraid I might accidentally step on that altar while doing this. So this process takes, I don't know, like 30 seconds each. I hope there's enough time to do them all. I guess I'll just come back when the attunement process is done. But when they are attuned, they become attuned celestial crystals. Hey look, a shooting star. I hear that if you chase it down to like where it lands, you can find like a little tidbit of either knowledge or some items, I guess. I don't think I'm going to chase after this one though. But I've attuned all of our celestial crystals. So the next step is to craft them into collector crystals. That takes resonating gems, a comfortable amount of stardust, and some illumination powder. Stardust. Where I have some, there we go. So I want to craft 2 of these into these crystals, and hopefully, if I get at least 1 done this night, I should be able to do the other one during the day. I really like the aesthetics of these, this mod, whatever it's called, Astral Sorcery. It took me a long time to learn like how all the mechanics of this mod works, but once I got to learn how it works and like how to put everything together, it's a really fun mod and it is really powerful. So I'm looking forward to all the stuff we can do with it, and this is really just like the first. Now that we have all our infrastructure in place, we can finally start to really put it all together. So with these collector crystals, now we can, I'm like 90% sure you can pick these up. So we can just place it down and then grab our linking tool which I built earlier, and link this to that, and it'll give us a slight boost in star power, but it's not all that much. To really take advantage of these collector crystals, we have to build this little structure around it that looks like this, and it's just mostly marble, entirely marble, and a little bit of starlight. So let me build one of these, and I'll be right back. So when we build this multi-block with the collector crystal, we get these particle effects to let us know that it's built right. If it's built wrong, you don't get them. So then we can now link this crystal to this altar, and we'll see that we should have a lot more star power than this. Is line of sight blocked? No? Let me figure out why we don't have... Is it because this is in the way? Nope. Alright, let me do some investigating to figure out why we are not getting more star power than we are. Alright, I figured it out. We had a small layer of snow. I actually don't know how to make this snow sheet, but basically we had a block of snow that was here, and that was blocking the line of sight of the lens, even though it was only the snow slab. So I think if I put some torches like around here, that should be enough to keep snow from forming. It's unfortunate that snow forms here, but I guess that's what I get for building so high up. Anyways, now when we look at it, that's way more like it. We have full star power even during the day. So that means that regardless of whether it's day or night, we can now craft. So this other celestial well, first of all, we no longer need this thing because I think this is causing cannibalization. Basically, if you have too many, or if you have starlight consumers or producers, I don't know what you call these, within 15 blocks of each other, they cause cannibalization, which reduces their effectiveness. So we can get rid of this now. This is like a small version of that. So, with this other crystal, I'm thinking I'll build another one of these shrines down there-ish, and we can use it to produce star metal ore. So let me get the components for that, and I'll show you how that is done. So our second collector crystal structure is built, and what I want to do with this one is focus it on block transmutation. So if I grab our linking tool again and link from you to each of these. Now by linking to 3 blocks, it does split the starlight 3 ways, but because this is a perfect collector crystal, it produces more. Whoops, I can't even harvest it with this pickaxe. I need a pickaxe that can harvest star metal. I guess I have to make... If black quartz doesn't do it, I suspect bronze won't do it. I guess I have to make a... Let's just go make that infused starlight pick then to be able to harvest this stuff. So good news is we have plenty of perfect crystals left. So let's grab a few more to bring them upstairs and make that pick out of. Be right back. Alright, now we are infusing our starlight or our crystal pick. Again, that used up all 12 buckets of starlight, but starlight's cheap. So now we should be... So anyways, the right click behavior of this pick is, I think what I discovered was that if you are holding a block in your offhand, let's just do dirt for now, and you right click with it, it'll highlight the nearby blocks of that type, which isn't very useful. It might have to be ores too. But yeah, so there really wasn't that much value in infusing it. I don't know, I just always infuse my picks. But one thing to look at, its mining speed is 20. Now it dulls out pretty quick, and when it's dulled out, its mining speed is a lot less than 20. But nonetheless, it is a fast pickaxe, so I'm happy to have it. And now that we have this, we can make both star metal and star dust much more easily, because we can just make the ore and then we can, you know, smelt the ore, and if we have to, pulverize it after. So I'm just going to... I guess that was a right-click behavior right there. I'm just gonna turn this all this iron into star metal because we don't need iron ore. And then when it's... Oh, it looks like it is night again. I'll go see what constellations are out to see if there's anything else I want to attune to. There were no constellations out that I wanted to attune anything to right now, so I just came back and started smelting some of this star metal ore. Now that we have easy access to star metal ingots though, the rest of the mod is a lot less expensive to work with. So now I made one last batch of leather because I used up all the leather we had, and hopefully by the time I use this up I'll be able to do the boots ritual, which will give us easier leather production. So let's head back up to the Astral Sorcery area, and I want to craft us a Mantle of the Stars. We're now ready to craft the Mantle of the Stars. Now if you look at the recipe for it, in addition to all the stuff that's here, it actually also uses the stuff on the outside, a feather, a star metal ingot, a stardust, and an ender pearl. So let's grab those. Let's see, feather, ender pearl, star metal ingot, stardust. And the way that it consumes these resources is when we start the craft, it just goes off, and I place a number of these spectral relays down. Over time, it'll ask for me to put the various items into the relays. And I don't think the order is deterministic, so you, at least as far as I can tell, you have to place them in response to, whoops, that's the wrong item, when it asks. Astral Sorcery in general is pretty difficult to automate, and I think this is one of those steps that's basically not automatable. But, oh well. Most of this stuff, at least in reasonably designed packs, I find you only do once or twice, so there's, while it's difficult to automate, there's also very little need to automate it. So now that I've provided all the ingredients, it produces the mantle. Now as it is, this isn't that great, right? Like it's better armor, it's effectively diamond armor, but it has no appreciable benefits. What we want to do then is attune the mantle to one of the constellations. And in order to do so, we have to wait until, or we need a crystal of that constellation. So say we wanted to attune it to the Avedius, which we don't, at least not this one. If I put the Avedius crystal in here, then when we craft, it'll attune the item to Avedius as well. But since I want to attune it to Visio, let's wait for the Visio constellation to come out, which it's already midday. So let's hope it comes out tomorrow. Awesome, it looks like Visio is out tonight, so we can see that the attunement altar is glowing. Let's start by clearing our personal attunement so we can switch it over to Visio. Alright, so after we are attuned, then I think I'll go ahead and attune a handful of our celestial crystals to it. And again, we'll turn one of them into a collector crystal. But more importantly, once this is done, let's actually go attune our Mantle of the Stars, and then I'll show you perhaps the biggest payoff for doing Astral Sorcery so far, and that'll be somewhere between Elytra Flight and Creative Flight as early as age 2. Hopefully there's enough time after the personal attunement to still do the crystals. Alright, so yeah, we're less than halfway through the night. There's plenty of time. So now if we look in our book, our attunement has changed to Visio, which we gain experience by traveling the world. So just by moving, we'll see we gain a bit of experience. Now, you don't gain experience for flying, but you do gain experience for elytra gliding. At least that's what I discovered in my test world. So once these crystals are attuned, I'll go and attune, or we can use these crystals to attune our mantle, which I think I put away. And then by combining the mantle flight, or the mantle glide, with the slime sling, we can very quickly rake in the Astral Sorcery EXP, and that'll let us max out our skill tree. So when it's maxed out, we get up to 30 points to pick from in this tree. So let me finish attuning these crystals, and then I'll go craft that mantle real quick. Let's do it. So start the craft. Did I get something wrong? Mantle. Oh, right. I have to put the Visio attuned crystal here. There we go. start the craft. And once again, it'll ask for me to put these various items in places. Normally, I don't do this much crafting on camera, but I've found that Astral Sorcery being a relatively newish mod, right? It only started in 1.12 or 1.10. A lot of people have difficulty using the mod, and a lot of people misunderstand it, and as a result say, it's an awful mod, it's crappy. I'll be honest, I was one of those people at first. I was like, why would I want to build all these giant multi-blocks for no reason? And I think in part that's pack developers' fault. A lot of pack developers just use Astral Sorcery as a gate to other mods. So it's like, they'll randomly include like a resonating gem in a ritual or in a recipe somewhere for like a late game item. And then, so the only reason people do Astral Sorcery is for the to clear the progression gate. But I think when it's used appropriately, like it is in this pack, it is very powerful. So anyways, now that we have our Visio attuned Mantle of the Stars, we can Elytra fly. It's been a while since I've done Elytra flight, so I wouldn't be surprised if I accidentally, crash into walls or whatever. Yeah, this is actually a pretty quick way, I understand, to build Astral Sorcery EXP. So if we look, we are level 2, and if I grab my Slime Sling and just do this, whoops, just do this, working on it. This should be a rather quick way that we can build up our Astral Sorcery EXP. Oh, does Elytra Flight not count? It worked in my test world. Maybe only the, let's see, we're at level 4. Maybe only the Slime Sling movement counts then. Also, I have a lot of mobs here. Let me kill some of these. Huh, I expected this to be a lot faster to level up. So yeah, Slime Sling movement definitely counts, right? You see when I Slime Sling, it shoots up. But I thought that Elytra movement also counted. Guess not. Oh well. Anyways, I'm going to spend a little bit of time, I guess, just slime slinging back and forth to level myself up a little bit. My goal is to get to level 30, and when I hit 30, I have a like a full skill tree build whatever plan. Until then, I think I'm just gonna stick with Elytra Flight, but eventually, when we get enough points, we can upgrade from Elytra, or we can upgrade our Visio Mantle from Elytra Flight into Creative Flight. So with this, we can go to when we go to the Deep Dark, we can just Creative Flight around to look for ores and stuff, which I think is pretty cool. So time to grind some Astral Sorcery EXP. So I've been bouncing around the plains for a couple minutes now, and I now have enough points to pick up Spectral Wings. So when I grab this now, I think I have Creative Flight. I'm pretty sure that this is the earliest you can get Creative Flight in this pack, and it's the earliest by a comfortable margin, which is why I think it's really awesome that we have access to it now. There's also an Astral Sorcery ritual that can give local Creative Flight to an area, and it's a pretty darn large area. We're talking 400-500 block radius, I think. So maybe not quite that big, maybe only 100-200. Either way, it's good for giving Creative Flight for everything in your base. But in the meantime, I think I'm just going to continue bouncing around a little bit and maybe get a couple more Astral Sorcery points. Although now that I have this, I don't know what I'm going to go to next. Originally, my plan was to come over and pick up some of the armor increasing perks, just so that I'm a little bit tougher, right? Because right now my armor's a little bit low. But we'll see. I guess now that I have Creative Flight, it seems to disable the slime boots, which, I mean, isn't that big a deal. We can just fly wherever we're going. But it also means that I can wear a piece of armor in my boot slot. So let me head back to the base, and then I'll figure out what I want to work on next. So there's a lot more I want to still do in Astral Sorcery, but I don't like how I'm still slave to the day-night cycle, and, it's not really RNG, it's cyclic, but the pattern of what stars are or what constellations are in the sky. So I'm thinking maybe let's get out of Era 2 soon and get into our age 2 and get into age 3, because I believe in age 3 we can unlock the blood magic weak ritual stone, which will allow us to basically, it's like well, we can use it to be like an anti-bed, right, where we can use it to turn it to nighttime, and then if we don't like the stars that are out, we can sleep, which will make it daytime again, and just repeat this process until we get the constellations that we want in the sky. So, if our goal is to get to age 3, we have to go back to the Twilight Forest, pick up a carbonite reactor and some pistons, and look to craft a coal engine. So let's see what that takes. I'm pretty sure once we hit age 3, we can get a easier recipe for this coal engine. So right now we only need to make one. So gold chest, sticky pistons. I think these are craftable, but they also spawn in the Urgas Tower in the Twilight Forest. Fiery gear. So that requires killing the Hydra and then casting the ingot as a gear. So we have to go kill the Hydra, pick up a carbonite reactor, do the Urgas Tower, and a crimson middle gem. So we also have to briefly go back to the Between Lands and pick up a crimson middle gem ore. So let's set that as our next goal. Back to the Twilight Forest we go. And we're back in the Twilight Forest. Now before we can go fight the Hydra and get his fiery blood, we have to navigate this maze and find ourselves the boss within, which drops something that lets us go to the swamp. It's like a giant minotaur or something. So I'm going to just go through this maze. Sometimes there's some loot, and sometimes the loot has TNT guarding it. So when you loot, you want to loot quickly just in case it's going to blow up on you. But yeah, mostly it's just running around aimlessly in this maze looking for the way down. Creative flight's not very useful here. I mean, I guess it is because these guys can only hit on the ground. I guess I can just fly up and then destroy the spawners. But yeah, I'll probably just cut here and then I'll come back if anything interesting happens or when we are nearing the end of the maze. So when you're doing the maze, the first thing you're looking for is a room like this. This is the way down to the second floor. Now, I had a creeper explode here, but the reason why you can't just dig down to it, this maze stone takes a while to break, but there's also like a layer of bedrock. So, yeah, the first thing you want to find on the first floor then is this passage down to the second floor. Second floor is basically the same as the first floor, except it has a boss instead of a down passage. So let's, I'll come back when I found that room. So I figured out how to tell if these rooms are booby-trapped. If you look carefully, there's a tripwire there. So if you set off that tripwire, you'll blow, maybe every room's booby-trapped, and I've just happened to not hit it before. But let me show you what happens if you set it off. You hear the sound of TNT going off, and I'm gonna back up a little bit, and it explodes. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. It took a while. I got lost a bunch of times, ended up blasting a hole through one of the walls with TNT, but I'm pretty sure this is a boss room, and that's the boss. So let's break in. And since he doesn't have a ranged attack, it should be a pretty easy fight. So I think I can just stand up here and hit them all. So I guess making the flight mantle has helped tremendously. Ooh, you can blow through that apparently. Stupid fire beetle, stop burning me. I'm actually quite hurt. Oh, he can hit me. That's why I'm so hurt. Oh, whatever. I should be fine. Where'd he go? There we go. So he drops a fair amount of loot, but the one piece we're after is meat stroganoff. By eating this, we can now go into the fire swamp, which is where the Hydra lies. And now we get to loot his stuff too. I guess we can't even use potions yet. Anyways, I'm going to finish looting this stuff, and then I think I'm going to work my way out and head over to the fire swamp for the Hydra fight. Of course, I'm on my way out when I find the maze map focus, which can be used to craft a map. Maybe now that I have this, let's actually craft that map. There's something pretty cool hidden away in this maze that's just impossibly hard to find without it, so I didn't bother to look for it. But now that we have the map, it shouldn't be that bad. So if we just craft the map around paper, we get a maze map, and then when we open it, it's a little less useful than I thought. It's like a vanilla map, huh? Well, what we can do with this is, let me head back down to the second floor, which I believe is this X here. Wrong map. What I'm looking for... Oh, maybe this doesn't work because I opened it on the first floor. Also, will you let me go? Thank you. So let's see. Maybe it doesn't work because I opened it on the first floor. Does it line up right? And never mind then. There's a hidden room that has like a special pickaxe in it that has fortune on it. And I didn't really want to go out of my way to look for it, but if I had the map, I would have looked for it. But I think it's on the second floor somewhere, and I synced my map to the first floor. So that's a whoopsies. Whatever, then I guess I just won't get it. We're pretty close to H3, which will give us enchanting anyways, which will mean that having an enchanted pickaxe isn't all that valuable. So I guess time to work my way out again, which I think is right here. I'm glad I marked these. So the next objective, as I said, is a swamp with the Hydra, which looks like it's due north. Before I go to fight this, I want to grab a little bit of cobblestone. I can get it when I get there. So let's get a little bit of cobblestone when we get there. The Hydra is approximately like a ghast, I guess I would describe it as. It has the, it shoots attacks at you and you can bounce it back. And that's the best way to damage him. So we can craft cobblestone into rocks and then just throw rocks at the Hydra to kill it. I think we can also go up and hit it, but that's, more dangerous. The environment here has these little, like, fire plumes. Yeah, it's kind of cool. So as we get here, Hydra spawns. Has a bunch of heads. Let's see what happens if we just go up and hit it. We are doing damage. Okay. But, yeah, when it does a fire breath, I think we can just throw rocks into the open mouth. Yeah, I don't know if that's actually better than just hitting it on second thought. Looks like we can only hit the open mouth. This wasn't all that bad, right? Come on, buddy, open your mouth. Almost there. Ooh, we reflected a fireball back. Alright, that's the Hydra. Being able to fly kind of makes these fights a little easy, but I'm not going to complain. Seems our inventory is quite full. So this Hydra room here is also a good place to go and gather up iron ore if we need it later for more star metal and redstone ore. Besides that though, what we were here for is the fiery blood. So this is used to make fiery ingots. And fiery ingots we need to make the fiery gear. Right, and that's a part of the coal engine. So actually, each gear takes 4 fiery ingots, and we only got 10 fiery blood. So it looks like we might have to go kill another Hydra. Also, it dropped some really good food. Jeez. So let's look on our map. Do we have another Hydra discovered? We do. So I'm going to go fly over, kill another Hydra to get more fiery blood, and then we can move on to the next step in Twilight Forest. Turns out I'm an idiot, and this is a not a Hydra den, but a a Naga den. So I guess we have to explore a little to find another Hydra den. Whoops. Alright, time for Hydra number 2. Should be just as easy as the first, I imagine. Oh, that hurts. I didn't realize how high the attack speed on this sword is. I can basically spam click it and it'll have full attack speed. Come on, Hydra. One more head. There we go. And 23. Are you serious? We need 16, not 24, right? Okay, perfect. So that's enough fiery blood to get us to age 3. Next up, we have to go hunt down and beat a what's it called? Where's the advancements for it? So not that, this one. Dark Forest Ruins. And we have to go through, it's basically another maze. So let's go and find that. It's in the north, what corner is that? Northwest-ish corner of the map. We see 3 of them. So I'm going to head to one of those and work our way in. So the entrance is somewhere underneath us. These leaves are really thick. So once we knock our way down, we'll probably dig straight down here. It's just forest underneath. It's really dark down here, and it's can be a little difficult to find your way, but put our torches back on our bar. And what we're looking for is an entrance to a underground, like a cavern system. And man, you really can't see anything around here. I'll probably just look around a bit. I'll cut to when I find it. Took a while of looking around, but I found this here above ground, and I think this is the beginning of the entrance. So if we just follow it along, and then we get to one of these. In order to get in through this, you can't break in. If you try to break into there's a mob. If you try to break into the stronghold, what happens is a force field comes up when you try to break the blocks. So in order to get in, you have to take a trophy of any type and put it on the trophy pedestal. On top, yeah. And then you can take it back afterwards if you like. But once you do that, the force field is broken and you can break in now. Whoops. Oh god, mistakes were made. Anyways, let's go in through the, well, I guess it's the same place, through the right entrance. We'll have to clear out some mobs here. But it's very similar to the previous maze, except this one has, different set of mobs in it. Killing these guys drops these armor shards, which I think is used to make night metal, which I believe we need for... We need this somehow for progression, right? Is it a part of the coal engine? No, it doesn't look like it. Either way, even if we don't need it for progression, it is a pretty good armor material. So yeah, it's a pretty good armor material. The block and chain is a pretty unique weapon. It's like a melee range weapon. So I'll probably kill them when I get the chance just for their loot. But our goal is once again to find a boss room somewhere in this maze. So I'm going to do some looking and hopefully it doesn't take too long to get there. Man, this place is huge. I've spent maybe 10 minutes already just rolling around, lighting up places as I go to mark that I've been here. Every now and then there's chests with a little bit of loot in it. Nothing too remarkable. I did get a nice bow, power 3 Unbreaking 3. But yeah, I've just been exploring the place, and It looks like, I don't know, maybe I'm halfway through. Can't really tell. There's still lots of dark passageways, and I still haven't found the boss room. So I guess I just have to keep this going. Lots of mobs here too. It's actually my... Here, after this fight, let's take a look at the state my sword is in. So my armor has already taken about a third of its health and damage, and my sword is already down to 40% cutting. So I did bring a sharpening thingy with me, so I can resharpen my sword if it gets maybe it gets below like 25%. But yeah, looks like I'm gonna be in here a little while. So hopefully the boss room is coming up. I'll speak of the devil. It's barely been 30 seconds since the last segment, but I think this might be the boss room. There's spawners up ahead. So I think when I break in here, I expect that they'll spawn. Oh, maybe this is just a helmet crab spawner. Ah, I've never seen this tile set before. This looks like it's just a treasure room. So I guess we can break that and loot our treasure. But downside is then that's not a boss room. Alright, well, back to the hunt. So in one of these chests was another maze map focus. So I'm wondering, does the map work in here too? I mean, I suppose there's no reason to expect it wouldn't, right? Let's open it on this floor and see. Huh, it looks like it kind of does. I'm not quite sure what that's telling me. Like, does that mean there's nothing in this room? Looks like it. Alright, well, maybe that'll help, maybe it won't. Let's see. Back to hunting around. So I think this is actually the boss room. Inventory is totally full, but I guess we'll clean it up after. When I come in here, those spawners that you see, I think will turn into mobs. There we go, and then we just have to kill them. Normally this fight's a little hard because they hit pretty hard, but ooh, they throw axes too. But with the amount of AoE and stuff we have, I don't expect this will be too difficult. One down. This sword has been really good for me. Alright, so that's that for this place. I think we got the advancement, and let's clean up our inventory a little so we can grab some of their loot. That's not bad armor. That's a pretty bad sword. Let's see. These pants are better, but they're almost broken. And let's replace our helmet as well. Alright, so I'm going to... Oh, a fortune pick. I'm going to finish looting this place, and then I think we can either head on back home to drop stuff off, or move on to the last phase of the Twilight Forest. And I'm thinking it might be a good idea just to head home to make some inventory space first. So I'm gonna finish looting this up. I think there might be chests in these tombs, maybe. Either way, and then I think I'll head back to our base to drop stuff off. So I'll see you back home in just a second. I went back to our base, cleaned out my inventory. Our backpack's empty, our inventory's empty. I guess I have a few things left to drop off from here. But I think it's, let's sharpen our sword again before we head back. So actually, before I sharpen it, let's see what it's at. 32% cutting, at which point it only has just under 9 damage. But when we sharpen it back up, wow, it's killed 353 enemies. That's quite a bit. So anyways, let's give it a little sharpening. 94 and 100%. So its size has dropped a fair bit, right? It started at 2700. It's down to 1600 now. But as long as that size doesn't hit 0, the sword won't break. And we can, you know, just throw it into Starlight later to bring the size back up. I'm actually thinking we did get a book, a enchanted book. Where did I put it? For sharpness. And while it's not necessarily, just enchanting with sharpness isn't the best. Let's actually, let's wait until next era when we can enchant it with both looting and sharpness at the same time. On second thought, so we'll just leave it as is, I think. Um, so back to the Twilight Forest, I guess, for us to take on the next step, which is the Ghast Tower. And while we're taking on the gas tower, we can go pick up the carbonite reactor and pistons while we're at it. Actually, looking at how long this episode has been already, let's save the rest of Twilight Forest for next episode. So today we were able to get both Creative Flight and make pretty good progress on the Twilight Forest. Tomorrow we'll come back, finish up the required Twilight Forest stuff for Age 2 and get ourselves into Age 3. In Age 3 where we'll have access to all of blood magic rituals. That'll make doing the rest of Astral Sorcery much easier. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.